Communication with a narcissist. When it comes to communication with a narcissist, be it your partner, your parents, siblings, friends, a boss, co-workers, or trying to co-parent with a narcissist, fear and panic can set in due to the anxiety from the memory of the last time you tried to approach them. Learning how to stand up for yourself and speaking your mind to them, to be yourself around them. Then when you do try to get your point of view across and enforce your boundaries, it can be one of the most emotionally draining, hurtful, confusing, and at times scary experiences. Conversations with a narcissist can feel impossible. Yes, we can communicate with them. All we have to do is open our mouths and talk. That's communication. Yet having a two-way conversation with them about something they have done, being respectful of our feelings, finding a compromise, finding the middle ground, trying to work through issues together is virtually impossible. One of the best methods to recover from this kind of emotional abuse is no contact. In some cases, this isn't always possible, so we need to learn how they work and how to handle ourselves around them so we don't end up feeling angry, hurt, and confused. When you find yourself going, it's always best to retreat, rethink, and then respond if you need to do so. Just because they don't understand us doesn't mean we cannot understand them to make our lives easier and no longer take their hurtful, toxic behaviour personally. A conversation with a narcissist is crazy making, as they will provoke, switch the topic, talk over us, play the victim, gaslight, triangulate or fall silent, anger and rage, especially when they don't get what they want or believe that they are entitled to. Learning the patterns they go around and why they do this, recognising the effects it has on us, helps us to observe what's happening and not absorb, so we can handle ourselves around them on a conscious level and not emotionally react on a subconscious level. Some examples of the conversation manipulation that a narcissist will use. Invalidation. This is when the narcissist will not only invalidate your points of view, your opinions, but also your feelings and your memories. Within a healthy relationship, you might not always agree with each other's points of view, but you would be able to agree to disagree. You would be able to find a mutual understanding or mutual compromise, that mutual respect of each other's feelings, wants or needs. As a narcissist is preoccupied with their own points of view and feels entitled to have things how they want, they invalidate you to put you down, to feel better about themselves. Projection. This is when the narcissist will deny their mistakes, they will deny their intent, they will deny their feelings not only within themselves, but they will pass these feelings onto you. They will pass their intent onto you, often starting the sentence with "you are," followed by whatever the narcissist thinks or feels in that moment, which causes you emotional distress. Blame shifting. Once they've projected their feelings onto you, the narcissist will then often genuinely believe that you are the one at fault. They will pass the blame onto you to change the focus of the conversation onto you, to distract you from their behaviour, so they're not held accountable for their behaviour. And the narcissist often genuinely believes that you are the one at fault. And with all their other manipulation within the conversation, this can leave us with more self-doubt as to what our real intent was. Word salad. This is when the narcissist will throw all sorts of conversation at us, which is nothing to do with the actual discussion that we're having with them. They will take us off topic. They will bring a third person into the conversation to distract us from the conversation and what it was initially about. And this can be very bewildering. Gaslighting, when they deny, when they distort reality, when they do all they can to confuse us to get us to doubt what we are feeling, to get us to doubt what our intentions are, to get us to doubt what has and has not happened. When they say, I never said that, that never happened, when actually they did say that and it did happen. Or when they say, you said that, but you know you didn't say that. With all the other manipulation methods they use throughout the conversation, this is an extremely confusing place to be. Provoke. If all the other methods haven't worked to get you to conform so they can gain the control over you and the conversation they wish to have, they will go all out to bait you to get that reaction out of you so they can blame it all on you. The more hurt or upset that we get when we are in that situation, you might notice the calmer a narcissist becomes when they get you into that state of despair. Once they've got that reaction, then they become calm and they will stand back and look at you with almost a smirk on their face and say, look at the state of you. Something is wrong with you. You're going crazy. I think you might need help. Some narcissists will go all out to get this reaction in front of other people so that they can then play the hero to other people about how much they have to put up with you, how much they're trying to help you, how irrational you are, or how irrational you are being. Then whatever we initially went into the conversation about is often completely forgotten as we're left feeling dazed and confused, disoriented, and like we are the problem. You are never the problem. Abuse is abuse. That is the problem, and there is no excuse for their abusive behaviour. Narcissist personality disorder is a reason, it's not an excuse. Abuse is abuse. But as they don't see themselves as the problem, we have to stop seeing ourselves as the problems that they blame and gaslight us into believing, and start viewing them for what they are doing. As they try to protect themselves from their mistakes, they sometimes don't understand a simple conversation. They can take it easily as criticism if it doesn't match exactly what they think, provoking their defense mechanism and creating rage and anger within them. Even though it's not our intentions, or when you just want to hear them say, I'm sorry for hurting your feelings, give you closure, yet they are either unwilling or unable. Now, some are highly toxic and dangerous. These are more than narcissistic sociopath or narcissistic psychopath. These best to stay well clear. Only you know the kind of narcissist you are dealing with, but the more you stand your ground to them, the more all hell seems to break loose, and you are left constantly on the lookout for their next game. As a narcissist can just not see someone's point of view and always seems to work against you, as it's always their way or you will suffer way, it doesn't have to be that way. You can technically lead them to think that something was their idea. True to narcissistic form, if they believe it's their idea, they will go along with it. If they believe they are in control, if they believe they have the upper hand, if they believe they are exploiting someone, most will go for it. Yes, this seems manipulative, so long as you're doing it with good intentions, so your relationship works better with your parents, your boss, the person you're trying to co-parent with, so long as it's not out of spite to cause hurt and pain. You're not doing it to hurt them. You're doing it to try and find that mutual understanding of each other. Sometimes we have to work with people on the level of understanding of their understanding. We have to work with people on the level of their understanding, not ours. We have to treat people in a way they understand. We have to treat people how we want to be treated, but sometimes this can lead us into very toxic environments where people do exploit us for who we are. Where a narcissist understands silence, sometimes our best defense is no reaction, it is silence. The narcissist will still blame us for that, us not giving them a reaction. They will still find a way to blame it on us, But most often, narcissists are quite stubborn. They are used to the fact that when they've given us the silent treatment, we chase after them. So when we fall silent on them, they believe we're trying to get them to give in to us, and often they will leave us alone for a long period of time. The thing is, a narcissist seems to be lacking in cognitive reflection. Research shows that narcissists are lacking in cognitive reflection. They are less likely to use critical thinking and are lacking in those skills. This is good news for those of you that question, am I the narcissist? Which most of us do when we first learn about the disorder. Another reason you're not, when you overthink and overanalyze and over-reflect and question so much from your past and take all the blame and feel like everything is your fault and work on your mistakes. This is another reason why you are not the narcissist. And it's also a reason why narcissists act on impulse and can simply walk away, taking everything with them without a glance back, because they cannot reflect on the part they played within the situation. Grandiose and vulnerable narcissists differ in their cognitive reflection skills. The grandiose narcissists, they tend to be arrogant. They have that sense of superiority, entitled, and come across as having a very high self-esteem. They're often extroverted to the outside world, still feeling shame on the inside. The fragile, the vulnerable, covert narcissist can come across as insecure to those closest to them, more introverted. They are more defensive, but they're not always introverted. Most narcissists do act on impulse and are then unable to reflect on what they did wrong, while others are more calculated and once they've made a choice are still less able to reflect on that choice. Both the grandiose and the vulnerable narcissist are self-centered. They can be highly impulsive, even if they don't act on impulse all the time. Once they've made a choice, they stick with it and don't have the ability to reflect correctly or see it from other people's viewpoints or change their mind. Once they've set a plan into action, they can just roll with it and stick with their truths, their false reality. A vulnerable narcissist is most likely to reflect temporarily, but only in a process that is namely me, myself, and I, and not usually for the benefit of those around them. Most narcissists seem to lack the ability to make a choice based on critical thinking skills, and even when they are wrong, lacking in that cognitive reflection means they are not as able as those not on the spectrum to reflect on the choice they have made adequately. The narcissist personality disorder is on a spectrum, hence some might be able to reflect. However, they often revert back to their original way of thinking once their needs are met, often why you'll get the false apology of, I'm sorry, you, because they'll still have to blame it on you in some way. They'll have usually blamed it on something you did within their mind, and then once their needs are met, they revert back to their negative ways. Narcissists are far less likely to use critical thinking, which is important to make good, sound decisions, and the ability to solve problems within our lives, to solve conflict, to solve disagreements. Cognitive reflection is a person having the ability to reflect on something they might have done wrong, mistakes they might have made. A narcissist overrides any thoughts that they could in fact be in the wrong, as they cannot reflect on their own actions. If others perceive them as wrong, they will cling on to the fact that they are right, as they are unable to reflect and find ways of making their actions or they then go and find ways of making their actions or behaviour correct, often by making your actions or behaviour incorrect. Critical thinking is having the ability to analyse facts, to form a judgment, the ability to think clearly and rationally, then understand the logic between the two ideas or actions, the ability to engage and reflect. No one thinks critically all the time, especially when our self-control is affected by our emotions, by anger, pain, resentment, grief or joy, or we are just being single-minded, which most people can be single-minded now again. Even those who are not a narcissist can slip into being single-minded, can slip into thinking from an emotional level in various situations. However, a narcissist rarely uses critical thinking for the good of others, only ever temporarily to serve themselves. This is why when you're trying to reach a compromise with them over something, they cannot see it from your point of view. They can only see it from their own. You might as well go blue in the face discussing things that matter to you. You might as well talk to that brick wall, as your thoughts, feelings and opinions are not the same as the narcissist. If they are not the same as the narcissist reality, they are not listening to you. If they are the same as the narcissist reality, this is when they might agree with you. But the narcissist can change their reality as and when they please to suit a need of their own. When they disagree with you, the more you push the subject, the more angry they feel that you don't see it their way, just like we do when they don't see it our way. The difference is they act more on impulse to cut us down and hurt us. When people don't see things our way, we can try to understand that person's point of view more, often leading to ourselves getting hurt when we're doing this with narcissistic people. Narcissistic people try to make us see their point of view. When narcissists are shown facts, they struggle to use critical thinking skills. Instead of going for that reflection, instead of looking at their behaviour, they go for gut instincts, reacting in impulse behaviours, resulting in those toxic behaviours. The grandiose side of their personality disorder often overrides their ability to critically analyse facts. So with some, it could be simply that they genuinely are incapable of listening to what you are trying to say. They are simply stuck within their own mindset, within their own reality, without the ability to think differently or to see it from another person's viewpoint. If you can, go no contact, which I always advise as best, as their thinking skills mixed with their lack of empathy and their lack of remorse makes for some of the most hurtful, toxic people there are in the world. So with most, it truly needs to be no contact. Yet there are those on the lower end of the spectrum, or if you cannot go no contact, here's a few ways to help you deal with them in a conversation. Always look calm and collected, just looking over their shoulder or looking past one of their ears, and try not to make direct eye contact when they come at you with the word salad. If it's face to face and you feel you need to respond, do not react to the vile things they are saying to provoke you. Remember who they are, observing them for who they are, observing the pattern of behaviour, understanding what they're doing, recognise what they're doing and recognise what they're trying to provoke within you. Knowing they are only saying things to provoke you, passing their own insecurities off onto you. Do not absorb their words. Do not take them personally. Stay in your own reality. Don't defend yourself. That's what they want. That's what they are trying to do. Instead, say things like, "You seem upset. Are you okay? You seem negative. Are you okay?" And leave them to it. Don't continue a conversation. Just hit repeat of what you said, as they will try to twist and turn it onto you. If you repeat the same thing, you'll watch them get more frustrated that they cannot draw that reaction out of you. This is especially helpful in public when they're trying to get that reaction out of you so they can blame it on you. You're still asking them if they're okay, but you're not bringing the focus onto you. You're keeping them accountable for how they are going around the conversation. Shut them down by not reacting to what they're saying. So things like co-parenting. If it's messages, do not go off topic. Do not respond to whatever they are throwing at you. Say what you need to say once and leave it. So if it's things like the kids have something on, they'll be ready for you at 6 and they come at you with, "That's just like you." You've said all you needed to say. Do not explain yourself. You already have. The children have something on. They have an activity on. They will be ready at 6. The narcissist didn't listen the first time, they'll not listen a second. Or when they bring the children home later and later, or pick them up late to get that reaction out of you, again, act to them like it's not bothering you. Other phrases to say are things like when they're coming at you, when they're trying to invalidate you, when they're trying to put you down to feel better within themselves. So something like, I'm not responsible for your opinion of me, or you're entitled to your point of view and I'm allowed mine, when they're trying to change reality on you and they're gaslighting you. Let them know they're entitled to their point of view, but also let them know that that means you are entitled to yours. When you do say these things, make sure your face stays straight and keep your emotions hidden. Always look calm and collected. When they are not getting what they want from you, they get angry and they make themselves feel better by making you feel bad. Always stay safe. Your safety is your main priority around these people. Once you learn how to do it, you'll know their games and they'll no longer have that impact on you or your life. It takes practice. At the start, you might need to get your emotions out. Just do not do it in front of a narcissist. Boundaries and no contact is best. If not possible, then start in their patterns of behaviour and no longer allowing it affect who you are as a person. You are worth so much more. You will recover and you will move on to a much happier life. I shall add the video in the description of 9 phrases that you can use to disarm a narcissist. But remember to always stay safe. I shall add the links where you can find me on social media and the online courses that are available. When a narcissist has been invalidating you, especially if it was your parent, we are then more open to other people's opinions of us, making it easier for those around us to put us down, to make us feel insecure. And we have to work on these insecurities. We have to start looking at the things that people do pull us down on and how it affects our emotions and why it affects our emotions, so that they can no longer use these things against us. It's normal to feel insecure about things, especially if you were raised with narcissistic parents that have picked at you throughout your entire life and put you down throughout your entire life. Sometimes writing out those insecurities and then finding the things that you do love about yourself, seeing it from the point of view that that is what somebody else drilled into your subconscious, and it's not actually what you think about yourself, it's what your parent has programmed you to think about yourself. Finding the times in your life when, if they've told you that you can't do stuff, that you're not good enough, finding those times in your life when you have achieved something, that you are good enough, that you are capable, that you have done it, to counteract their negative words with the actual actions and reality of when you have proven that their words are wrong, can help shift your mindset and shift your focus and learn to fall in love with yourself. I shall add the video in the description also on how narcissists invalidate us, and I shall add the video on help to healing insecurities. Again, it's about finding what works for you, finding the method that helps you recover from narcissistic abuse. There is so many different ways out there. Finding the one that works for you and going with it, you can and you will heal from this. Thank you very much for listening. I hope everyone has an amazing day. Bye.